time in a few months. I'm left speechless, Deputy Presiding Officer. I seem to have left my floral tributes in another place, and I'm left only with my wit and wisdom. So this could be a very short contribution. But I will answer a point, because I thought it was a very interesting and thoughtful speech that we've just heard from Susie Davies, who did challenge me, I felt, in a very fair and reasonable way. We do not wish, of course, to impose. We wish to reach agreement. And there is agreement, actually, and there is agreement across local government, and I believe we heard from the UKIP spokesperson this afternoon, and we've heard in other places politicians on all sides of the chamber recognising that the current structures we have are not sustainable. And the first meeting I had with the WLGA in Cardiff City Hall back in November, the WLGA themselves were very, very clear then that the current structures are not sustainable. 22 local authorities in a country of 3 million people is simply not a sustainable structure. And that is, I will allow you to intervene. And that was coming from a WLGA and not from Welsh Government.
How did that compare against the rest of Western Europe?
Well, the WLGA didn't go as far as that, I'm afraid to say. But I will say to my very good friend from Swansea East, who has made a speech that isn't entirely unfamiliar to me, that as a country we are not the greatest population on the planet. We are, as a population of Wales, is slightly more than Paris or Rome, but below that of Berlin and Madrid. And we need the structures that reflect properly the communities we serve. And I thought the points made by Paul Davies in that respect were fairly made and were good and reasonable points. We, of course, both lived in Dyfed in those days, and I would very gently remind the member for Preseli that some of the problems of Dyfed were caused, of course, by a Conservative Secretary of State who at that time cut local government significantly, and we saw significant issues, not only in Dyfed, but across Wales. And, you know, when I talk to local government leaders, I'm delighted that the Conservative spokesperson, Jonathan Saunders, is on a tour of Wales. We might even bump into each other at some point, and we'll look forward to those conversations. But, you know, when I travel Wales, and I travel to visit and to speak to councils and council leaders, they do make sometimes some very robust points, let's face it. We have very robust and challenging conversations. But, do you know, not one of them, nobody anywhere has said to me, I wish we had a Conservative minister delivering Conservative policies as they are doing across the border in England. Not one of them. Even your Conservative councillors, I agree with Oscar's description of Peter Fox. He's a great local authority leader. But I have to say, I'm still awaiting the correspondence where he seeks to influence me as to following Conservative policies in England, you know, which has reduced in the last 6 or 7 or 8 years for spending power of local authorities by 49%. Let me. I always know when I'm making progress, because the member for Clwyd West begins to pipe up. Now, the spending power of local authorities in England have been reduced by 49%. Now the Conservative spokesperson, the member for Aberconwy, said that we needed to respect local government, and I agree with her, we do. But cutting by half the support for local services is not showing respect, it is showing disregard. It is showing that they don't give a damn for those services or the people delivering those services. And that's the reality of Conservative policy. And the Conservatives have stood this afternoon and made, at times, I will agree, some reasonable and fair points about a programme of mergers. But what they haven't reminded the Chamber is that the Conservative government in England hasn't just compelled and enabled mergers to take place, but has done so without any support and any funding at all, anywhere, at any point. So it's not right or proper for them to come here and oppose policies that are being pursued by a government here which seeks to support and empower local government, whilst at the same time not take responsibilities for some of the policies they themselves support across the border. I want to make some progress, if I could. I can see what time is against me, because I want to go beyond the conversation that perhaps we've had this afternoon. And we all too often, when we debate and discuss local government, we discuss lines on maps and we discuss a programme of mergers. I believe that a programme of creating larger local authorities is a prerequisite to something else. And it is the something else that is important to me. I will let this membership into a secret. When I go to bed at night, I do not go out. I do not. I'm going to finish a sentence. I'm going to finish a sentence. I do not.
Can we all calm down?
I do not place either a copy of the Green Paper or a map of the new authorities under my pillow. Right? I do not do that. I do not dream. I do not wake with a start at 3 o'clock in the morning dreaming of new authorities in the Vale of Glamorgan or in the Vale of Clwyd or elsewhere, or a return of a flag of David and the kings of Deheubarth. I don't dream or think of things like that, and I am not committed. I am not committed to a particular model or a particular geography, but I am committed to something else. I am committed to empowered local government. I am empowered to stronger local government and better and local democracy and democratic accountability. And do you know what motivates me? What does keep me up at night is knowing that 700 people in Ceredigion have been made redundant because of what is happening to local government today. What keeps me awake at night is knowing there are people who are afraid of seeing the council tax bill because councils are struggling, facing austerity and facing difficulties in balancing their budgets. And that is in the context where this government has protected those budgets and protected those services. We haven't seen anything like the cuts in Wales that we've seen in England, but we've seen the disruption to services and the failure to deliver services at different times because we have a structure that is simply not fit for purpose and is not sustainable. And the WLGA agree with that analysis, and I know people on all sides of the chambers agree with that. But let's go beyond a dry and tired debate on lines on maps and mergers. Let's look at the vision. It isn't good enough. It isn't good enough for any member on any side of the chamber here today simply to stand up and make a speech telling us what they oppose and what they don't like. We are not paid to tell people what we don't like. We are not paid to tell people about the problems we already know about. We are paid here to find solutions to those problems, to find solutions to the difficulties that people face. And let me say this, I know the time is against me, Deputy Presiding Officer. Welsh Labour believes in this policy of creating larger, stronger councils because we want to protect our services, we want to protect the people who deliver those services, and we want to deliver a greater democratic accountability. We want a new culture, we want a new relationship between this place and local government. I said in my speech on the weekend in Llandudno that it is time for a new settlement in Wales. We have seen and we've campaigned and we discussed this afternoon about devolution to Wales. But I believe we also need devolution within Wales. Greater powers to robust local authorities with a capacity to use them and with a strategic vision to deliver services across Wales. Greater powers to every local authority, every reformed local authority in Wales. I've given a commitment that we will start to look towards delivering the EU Charter on Local Government into Welsh law, and I want to go further than that. I want to look towards shared services and an improvement body for Wales to give local government the powers and the responsibility for improvement in local government. For too long, this place and local government have been like unhappy siblings arguing with each other. We need a mature relationship with local government. We need a new relationship with local government. We need a new settlement for local government. We need empowered local government, stronger councils, working alongside Welsh Government to deliver services for the whole of Wales. And I believe, Deputy Presiding Officer, that that is what the people of Wales want as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.